Hi boys and girls, thank you for coming to my house today to hear a story about being teased. Look at his teeth, they're enormous. Look at them, have you ever seen anything like it? That's what Zach heard, and it hurt his feelings. Zach was supposed to have big teeth because he was a beaver, but his teeth were bigger than normal, even for a beaver. Beavers are wonderful animals that build dams that they make their houses out of, and they call those houses lodges. And they swim underneath the water, and they come up inside this dome-like structure that they've made with fallen logs, or tree logs that they've cut down with their sharp teeth, and they live in there. And beside that, they have another pile of wood that they eat during the winter. When the weather starts turning wet and snowy, they make sure that they get a lot of mud, and they have those wonderful flat tails that they use to pat the mud on their lodges to protect them from the water and also predators. The mud hardens when it freezes, and it gets very, very hard like cement, and so that protects them. It's a really cool thing. Beavers have wonderful feet too. They're webbed between the toes so that they can swim better, just like ducks' feet. And so that's how God made them. And they have little tiny eyes, and they have little ears, and they can't see very far. They're nearsighted. They can only see closely. They can't see far away. And so when there's a predator about, then they use their flat tails and they smash the water with it, and that creates a loud sound that travels up and down the river and the other ponds, and so that all the beavers know that there is a predator or some other animal that can hurt them, or a person that could hurt them. And so that's how they warn each other. Well, Zach has large teeth, and he's being teased, and it hurts his feelings. He had come to a competition that his dad was participating in, where they were having a race to see which beaver could chop down the tree the fastest with their teeth. And when he was teased from Sally, he hid behind his mom, and he didn't want to come out because all of a sudden he realized that he had something different than other beavers had, and that was larger teeth. And he hadn't realized it before, but it hurt his feelings. And he was hiding behind his mother, and he almost missed his dad winning the race, but he peeked out just in time to see that happen. And he saw his dad win, and he was so excited for his dad. But from then on, he stayed away from the other beavers outside of his own family and stayed really close to his lodge and just helped his parents keep it up and keep the mud on it and add more logs when needed. And so he stayed around because he didn't want to be teased from the other beavers that were around. And so it hurt his feelings. Well, Zach had been playing with his teeth one day, and he realized that he could do something that other beavers couldn't do. He could whistle through the hole in between his two front teeth, and he could whistle really, really loud. And when the other beavers found out that he could do that, they thought that was pretty cool. Don't you think that would be cool if you could whistle really loud through your teeth? And so he could do that, and they thought that that was pretty cool. And so every day when Zach wasn't working at the lodge helping build it up again, he would practice whistling. Well, one day the rain started, and it started raining really, really hard, and the rain was coming down in torrents, and sheets of rain was coming down, and it was getting pretty dangerous because the water levels were rising, and it could wash away the lodges, the dams that the beavers had made, and it was frightening for the beavers. And so Zach's dad wanted to see how bad it was, and so he got out of the lodge by swimming underneath the water and went up, and he went upstream to see how bad the water was coming, and it frightened him what he saw. Well, the family was waiting in the lodge, waiting for Daddy Beaver to come back, and after a while he poked his head in and he goes, "Didn't you hear me splashing? I used my tail and I splashed as loud as I could. Didn't you hear me? I was trying to warn all the beavers." They said, "No, he didn't." He said, "That's what I thought happened." He turned to Zach and he said, "Zach, it's up to you. You have to warn all of the other beavers that there is danger because all the water is breaking all the dams, and more water is coming, and we will be swept away, and we need to get out of the lodge, and we need to warn all the other beavers down stream from us. So Zach just looked at his dad. He didn't know what he was talking about. His dad said, you need to whistle, and you need to do it as loud as you've ever done before in your life. So Zach swam down and then popped his head out, and he could hardly believe how much rain was coming down, and he couldn't hardly see very far in front of him. And so he knew that he needed to do it, and his dad came up right next to him, and he said, go ahead, son, take a deep breath. So Zach took a deep breath, inhaled as much air as he possibly could, and he breathed it out through his teeth as loud as he could. Woo! It went, and it echoed through the rain, and the other beavers heard it, and pretty soon they saw other beavers poking their heads out of their lodges downstream. And so all the beavers got out of their lodges, and they went upstream, climbed the hills away from the water that was rushing down the streams. And Zach was able to help everybody by warning them. And then they waited out the storm. In a few days, the water had gone away, and it was safe to go back. When they got back home, they saw that their lodge was just destroyed. It was a terrible thing. And so what they did was they had to cut down more trees or gather the other logs that had drifted away and pull those in and get a bunch of mud and pack it all together and make their houses strong again. And that's what they needed to do. And so they worked at it. Well, a few days later, some of the other beavers came to Zach, and they said that he was the greatest because he had warned them, and they thanked him so much for that. Because he was different. His teeth were bigger than other beavers, but he was able to use that and do something that they weren't able to do. Do you know of somebody that has a different ability or something that's different than you? We need to praise people for their abilities to do things differently than we can do. But also you may notice that somebody may not be able to walk, and they are in a wheelchair. They use a walker or a special crutches. Or you may know somebody that can't see, or they can't hear. We don't need to make fun of them. That's not a good thing to do. We need to encourage them because they probably have an ability that you cannot do. If they are blind, they may be able to hear better than you. If they can't use their legs, their arms are probably stronger than yours are. God has made us all different. He's made us, some of us, with a handicap or something that makes it more difficult for us to do certain things. But then he also has given us abilities to do something better in another area. And my challenge to you is that you do not tease other people. If you see somebody, just smile, be nice, be kind, because God made them that way. The Bible says, be ye kind one to another. That means everybody that you meet, you need to be kind to them. That doesn't mean that they need to be your best friend, but you need to be kind. Don't say cruel things. Don't say things or tease them and that would hurt their feelings. We need to be kind to one another. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed this story.